Hi, I want to talk today about how plants live in their environment and handle a lot of stresses, and maybe actually convince you to start thinking about all the things that bananas can do that humans can't. And I want to do that by talking about pollen, which is what I study. When I talk about pollen, you probably think of allergies. But the reason that pollen is out there in such mass and able to mess with us is because it's providing a very important function, which is allowing plants to have sex. Plant sex is crucial, certainly. All of the oxygen we breathe, every single calorie that you've ever eaten has been produced by a plant, even if it went through an animal first. And a fundamental truth about plant life is that they are rooted in the ground, and they cannot, like us, move throughout the world in order to find a mate. And so that's what pollen is for. It's a hardy package of cells. It's lost most of its water. Its metabolism is basically shut off. And it's traveling throughout the world. But then there's a moment when it finds its match, its partner, and it now has an almost impossible sounding task. It has to take up water and swell to twice its original size in just a couple minutes, and then grow a long tube hundreds of times its original size. And this is one of the fastest growing cells that nature has ever produced. Grow that long tube through the female flower in order to fertilize the seed. But I want to talk about that first step, the pollen hydration, which is where it takes up water very quickly. And this is actually a precarious moment in the life of the pollen, because imagine putting a deflated balloon up to a fire hydrant and then turning on the pressure. If you do it too quickly, too forcefully, it's going to burst. And that's a real thing that happens to pollen. And if you've got burst pollen, game over, no plant sex, no food, no oxygen. Well, how does it avoid doing that? Well, the short answer is we don't know. And we don't know is actually a wonderful phrase. It's probably what drives most of us here. We don't know means there's something new to discover. And it means I have a job in this case, because that is what I'm trying to find out. We don't know, but we have some idea, which is that the membrane of pollen actually has these pores in it that can stretch open in response to the stretch of the membrane and allow salt and water to go out to balance the water coming in. And so the very force that is threatening the life of the pollen, which is that membrane stretch, provides the mechanism by which the pollen can survive that stress. I think it's really elegant. I think it's a great example of how plants, which are so totally different from us, have managed to adapt themselves to incredibly stressful environments, whether it's rooted in the ground or flying through the air. And I just think it's a beautiful process to investigate. Thank you.